This is the Strongarm Boost. I posted on my Facebook page about it a while ago, but I don't think I ever did a proper demo for it. It's essentially a JFET based booster that gives you your sound but more of it, to the point where when you have everything maxed, there's even a little bit of saturation, but it doesn't go out into full out distortion. It just makes everything sound bigger and livelier. Right now I'm using my Stratocaster into both my Fender Blues Junior and my Bugera. Here's the bypass sound. That's the neck pickup, middle, and bridge. And the two in-between positions. Here it is, the Strongarm on. I have the level maxed right now. The input gain is about a quarter of the way up, and the tone control is sitting at about, what is that, 2 o'clock? So as you can hear, yes, a lot of it is the fact that it's pushing more volume, but it just adds more depth to the sound when it's on, compared to going straight to the amp. I designed it specifically so that the mu amp configuration that the transistors are in, it basically just puts them together so that there's more gain on tap. This is it in layman's terms. It just gives more oomph, I suppose you could say, and it's more consistent than other JFET designs. But yeah, it has a high input impedance, so there's very, very little signal being lost. It'll easily play well with other pedals in your chain. I also added an output section, just a simple buffer thing behind the volume pod, so that it'll play well with the pedals behind it in your rig as well. So if I put on, say, this Marshall style pedal, the sub-nadir. Sounds pretty good. And I want to saturate it even further. But you can, like I said, you can get a little bit of saturation with this just by itself. I'll roll back the level a little bit. You put the treble control in the center, and crank the gain. Back the level a bit, so you can definitely hear that it's not from the amps being hit hard. So yeah, there is a little bit of added like dirt to it, but like one that works well for like a just barely clean tone kind of thing. I find it just loves the sound of single coil guitars. Even if you do adjust it so that it's going for unity, like you can't deny that when the pedal is on, it just sounds so much livelier. Crank both the level and the input gain. Well, you're creating a huge signal to hit the front end of your amp with, which sounds just great if you're wanting that huge kind of sound. It does get a little bit fizzy, but that's where the treble control comes in. It's one of those tone controls that I actually borrowed it off of the AMZ Music website. Jack Orman has a bunch of schematic ideas, things for circuits there. Anyways, this is a tone control design that, when turned to the right, it basically attenuates very, very slightly all of your signal except for the treble, which is bypassed by that attenuation with it essentially becomes a bright cap, and yet when you turn it to the left, it's the cap suddenly, instead of bypassing it, it goes to ground and bleeds off treble. What this means is when you turn to the left, you're taking away highs. When you're turning it to the right, it simulates adding highs. So you get sort of like the benefits of an active tone control without it being active. Which also means you can get warmer tones like this. Or, if you really want to cut through, maybe not best to be doing this with a Strat, probably better with a darker guitar, but so it's just like a great tone sculpting pedal. Like this one is actually one that I got it. I already sold it. I actually have it back because the person who bought it from me loves it a lot, but needed a little bit of TLC on it. But I won't get into that. It's the pedal's working fine, and as you can hear, like that's all just the pedal itself. And while I won't be switching guitars right now, because the treble control is pretty powerful, it loves working with humbuckers too. So like it works well for adjusting between pickup types and outputs. So, and it just adds, I don't know, a little bit of depth and presence. It's just a great overall pedal. It has a nice amount of output to it, so you can easily use it as a semi-clean boost, mostly clean boost actually, especially if you turn down the input gain so that it's not oversaturating. Like here, if I do this. That's this sound here. That's not too much saturation on the first gain stage of the pedal, and yet you can clearly hear. It's a design that I love it. I'm going to build one up for myself as soon as I get the money. So all of you, buy some more pedals so I can build some for myself too. I'm just kidding. Although if you are interested in Strongarm Boost, all you have to do is just contact me. It's just a great overall pedal for augmenting your basic guitar tone. It can work. I've tried it in many different places in my chain. I tend to prefer it up front where it can interact closer to the guitar's pickups. I right now have it between my wah and my Univibe style pedal, the Deja Vibe, but it also works well like after a bunch of other effects if you want just an overall level boost, but one that can warm things up. And as you can hear, it loves hitting distortion as well. And one last thing, I'm not going to show it right now, but because it has a pretty nice low end to it, it reacts well to low frequencies. Like it works great with bass for if you just want a warmer sound. Like I wouldn't turn the input gain up all the way because it may get a little flubby. But every time I've used it with my bass, it just sounds like wow, night and day difference between just going straight into the amp. And it's like a preamp in a small little pedal format. So once again, if you're interested, just contact me. I can build up more. It just works. It works well with all my guitars and my bass, and I even used it with my acoustic guitar with the internal pickup and that going into my bass amp before, just to see how that would work for tone shaping. If I wanted to mic it up or well, that kind of thing. And it's you have to be careful not to go too far with the controls, otherwise you can get feedback, as with any other electric guitar specific pedal. But it even warms up the sound of my Dreadnought acoustics. So yeah. Anyways, if you like this, you can contact me through the Tom Freeman Audio Effects Facebook or Instagram pages, or visit tfaudioeffects.com, where there's a link to my email there. The price of this may fluctuate just based on the availability of the JFETs that I need to use to build these, but right now I'm aiming at having these at about $120 each. So contact me today.